things started out cheery, so cute. I was adorable. There's me and my little brother. I was so adorable, but I didn't think so. I was actually really unhappy. That's me on the right-hand side at camp, which I hated. I became a juvenile delinquent, I guess, or just an unhappy kid who left home at 15. I didn't really run away. I just walked because I was carrying a bunch of stuff. Now a bunch of stand-in photos from when I became a meth dealer. And then I went down to Florida and lived on an island and took care of 13 dogs and a goat, and then went to prison. And then I ended up in California growing weed, and then I met this lady and we bought a van and we headed down to Mexico where we played music in the streets. And then she broke my heart and I met this guy and we headed to New York City. Donald Ray Houston, probably the guy who gave me HIV because he died of it. Then I left him, became a hooker, and then I found an easier job being a dominatrix. And then eventually I just fell apart. And I found out I was HIV positive. But I rallied. I wrote a book on women and AIDS. And then I started doing comedy about living with HIV. So funny, but it upset people. No one thinks AIDS is funny, or they don't like poetry about AIDS. So I did a one-woman show called Sex, Cellulite, and Large Farm Equipment about it. No one thought that was good either. Well, some people did because I was educating, and they gave me a PhD. Yay. And then I met a man, someone so kind, so loving. Look at all that cuteness. He was amazing, so I married him. Because death do us part, I could do that. But I couldn't. So I went far, far away to an island where I met a man who made me the resident artist at a collective called 7-7. And there I painted and painted. But I went to India and I got very, very sick with an infection in my lungs that continues to this day. And I had to find a place to live where it was cheap. So I went to Mexico. First thing I did, of course, wherever I go, set up an art studio, because no matter how sick I am, I have to paint, even if it's just for a little part of the day. And the other thing I found, no matter what, I walk. And when I walk, I take photos. These are all done with my iPhone. I just take photos, makes me feel good. But I kept getting sicker and sicker. I was actually kidnapped and put in a fake hospital, then eventually airlifted to the United States, where I cut off all my hair, got insecure, bought a wig, but then I embraced my short hair. United States. I fell apart. Oh, but then my uncle came and he saved me and he brought me up to Napa where he built me a big, huge outdoor studio where I could paint these wonderful, huge paintings. It was great. I loved it. But then he died and I had to go. And I went deeper, deeper into the woods. I bought a trailer and I had an outdoor studio there and a lot of cows. And it was a wonderful time until the fires came and they burned everything. It was intense. They put a fire break 800 feet in front of my trailer and there was so much smoke you just couldn't breathe, and they burned millions of acres. So I left and I went to Los Angeles, California, where I ended up living in the most craziest place. I found my way now as a photographer. Every morning, no matter how sick I am, I just go out and take photos. It's the thing that brings me joy. I can always walk, it seems. I hope I can always walk. Maybe there'll be a day I can't walk. Well, at least I'll be able to zip around on a little wheelchair. I see people out here doing that. And I'll always be able to hopefully take photos, because that brings me so much joy. It's just catching moments in life, little clicks. I love it. And the other thing I love, dogs and all animals. I've rescued a lot, 46 in total, one at a time. There's Lily Lincolnstein, Sammy Davis Jr., and we have Frank Sinatra. And this guy just showed up at my house one day, Spinny. Lucy, my first rescue in Mexico, and Ziggy Stardust. Oh, how I love that little dog. And there was Sweetie. I thought she was going to die, but she didn't. She survived. Oh, I love these dogs. There's Otis Redding and Ziggy. And then when I came to the United States, I bought Bruno, and I found his twin up in Napa. But I found that little doggy a home before I had to name him. And Bruno's been my savior, along with a few other items. I'm now loving Los Angeles. I found